This video discusses conflicts from third-party compensation published by securities regulators on August 3, 2023, involving their review of the client-focused reforms. This notice serves as a critical regulatory guide summarizing the CSA and CIRO's findings on firms' conflicts of interest practices and offering additional guidance to securities advisors, dealers, and representatives. Some firms reviewed failed to identify the receipt of any third-party compensation, including the receipt of greater third-party compensation for the sale of certain securities relative to others as a material conflict of interest. In addition, some firms failed to identify the material conflict of interest associated with receiving third-party compensation in the following specific scenarios. 1. When the firm and registered individuals distributed a single product and earned commissions from the sale of that product, and 2. When the firm and registered individuals distributed multiple products which all paid a commission, regardless of commission rates, including where the commissions are the same. The securities regulators note that material conflicts of interest almost always arise when a firm receives additional third-party compensation when making a product available for sale, such as due diligence or administrative fees received from an issuer. Some firms lacked adequate controls on the conflicts of interest arising from third-party compensation and did not provide clients with adequate disclosure. It is an inherent conflict of interest for a registrant to receive third-party compensation, such as commissions that the firm receives, which it may then share with registered individuals, for the distribution of products a firm sells to clients. The securities regulators also consider circumstances where registrants receive greater third-party compensation for the sale or recommendation of certain securities relative to others to be an inherent conflict of interest. In the experience of the securities regulators, these are almost always material conflicts of interest, as it may influence the conduct of the firm and its registered individuals. For example, it may influence the selection of products that the firm puts on its product shelf, and the recommendations or decisions of the registered individual may also be affected by the incentive to earn the commission. The decisions of clients to invest may also be affected by the existence and/or amount of third-party compensation. Firms should be able to demonstrate that both product shelf development and client recommendations are based on the quality of the security without influence from any third-party compensation associated with the security. With respect to disclosing the nature and extent of such conflict, the firm should include language in its conflict of interest disclosure that states that a particular product or a group of products pays a larger percentage commission than other products available to the client, and the extent of the compensation difference should be explained. So, what are the suggested controls recommended by the securities regulators? The securities regulators refer to Section 13.4 of the Companion Policy to 31-103 for detailed examples of controls relating to this conflict, including the following. 1. Include securities that provide lower levels of third-party compensation or no third-party compensation in the firm's product shelf evaluation process, and ensure that the process is free from bias towards securities that provide third-party compensation or higher third-party compensation, including requiring that all securities be subject to the same Know Your Product processes and selection criteria regardless of their levels of third-party compensation. 2. As part of the firm's product shelf development, conducting periodic due diligence on securities on the firm's shelf that provide third-party compensation, to determine whether such securities are competitive with comparable alternatives available in the market, including those that do not provide third-party compensation. 3. Clearly document how securities that provide third-party compensation fit within the firm's business model and strategy, and how they are aligned with client interests and the services provided to clients, including a consideration of the following factors. 3A. The range of ongoing investment and financial services provided to clients. 3B. The extent of such services. And 3C. Controls to confirm that the services are provided. 4. Developing client profiles, setting out the types of investors for whom securities that provide third-party compensation may be suitable. 5. Maintaining internal compensation arrangements for registered individuals that do not solely tie the registered individual's compensation, either directly or indirectly, to commission revenue that is based on securities recommended or sold. 6. Monitoring registered individuals' recommendations to determine whether predominance is given to securities that provide third-party compensation or hire third-party compensation, and to assist in evaluating whether the conflict is being addressed in the best interest of clients, and 7. Imposing consequences on registered individuals for breaches of the firm's conflict of interest policies and procedures that are sufficiently robust to counteract the potential incentives that registered individuals might have to put their own interests ahead of their clients' interests. Thank you for watching. This video is intended solely for educational and training purposes and should not be considered as legal advice. If legal advice is required, please contact a lawyer. Please stay tuned for our next video where we will further dissect specific issues and recommended practices that can help firms and registrants navigate this complex regulatory landscape involving conflicts of interest.